Greetings! In this video I'll be painting a Consecrators Intercessor. I've 3D printed some Mark IV pauldrons, and poorly kit bashed a Hellstorm bolt rifle onto a normal Intercessor model. This model was hit by the exploding paint pot I mentioned in a previous video. After cleaning up most of the paint, I primed the model black and was ready to start. I find highlighting black difficult, so I began by dry brushing Eshin grey all over the model. This skips the need for highlighting every edge, and I can focus some specific edges with a lighter colour later. It has a bit of a dusty finish, which can be avoided by adding a tiny bit of water to the brush before applying it, but I think it adds to the weathering, and later steps will reduce its visibility anyway. Onto some manual highlights with Dawnstone. I went for some of the more pronounced edges, and spots that I thought needed defining better, like my poor kit bashing work around the wrists, and the fairly smooth elbows. Next I blocked out all the silver metallics with Leadbelcher, nothing too fancy here. The Consecrators paint their chest ornament, in this case an Imperialis, silver, but I wanted a bit more flair, so I painted the applique armour on the right pauldron silver as well. It looked weird being a colour that wasn't metallic. I switched to Mephiston red to paint in the armorial details. The benefits of 3D printing the shape makes it easier to paint like this. I also painted the molecular bonding studs on the pauldron, and the helmet strap with this colour. I chose red for the studs based on this image from the Warhammer fandom website. I'm not sure where it comes from, but I like the look of it, so I went with it. I went back to Leadbelcher to paint the Aquila on the gun that I forgot. For the company marking I used Karak stone. I went with the 6th company marking as it's simple and what some of the references we're using. I think they adhere to the Dark Angels markings, but I'm not so sure, so I wanted to play it safe. I went back to Leadbelcher and Mephiston red to paint in the wrist details and the skull on the weapon's magazine. For the cartridges visible in the magazine window, I used Screaming Bell. Then onto the leather. I base coated all the pouches, the holster, and the belt with Rhinox hide. I followed that with an edge highlight of Skrag brown. When the paint started drying, I used it to apply scratches over the smooth surfaces. I repeated the process with Deathclaw brown, using thinner lines. For the eye lenses I used Averland Sunset. It looks really bright here, but later steps help reduce that. I then highlighted the yellow with Yriel yellow, followed by a small bit of Dorn yellow on each surface. I went back to Mephiston red for the little studs on the helmet that I missed. I then switched to Ulthuan Scarlet to highlight all the red details. This included redrawing the main section of the helmet stripe, completely covering the red on the armorial, and covering most of the molecular bonding stud surfaces. To highlight the previous red, I used Wild Rider red, this time applying it only on the upwardmost facing surfaces of the studs and towards the middle of the helmet stripe. I again went back to Mephiston red for the helmet cables I missed. Now for the white on the armorial. I applied Ulthuan grey carefully in multiple passes so I didn't get any white where the marking was meant to be. I went at it from an angle to help prevent errors. The process looks messy, but it works well. Now to shade all those metallics with a wash. I used a dark grey wash and applied it all over the metals. The reference images showed dulled metal, so I wasn't too worried with how much I was applying. Speaking of the reference images, the image with the red studs on the Mark 6 armour shows that the studs are reflective, so I tried applying some metal medium over the top. Could have used a gloss varnish instead, but at this scale they achieve a similar look. Finally onto an enamel wash. I applied some AK dark sepia pin wash all over the model, even letting a little into the eyes to give them an outline for a weak glow effect. I avoided the recesses on the armorial though, as I want the red to stand out properly. After leaving that to dry for a few hours, I applied my usual basing method and finished it up with an ultramatte varnish. And here we have it! Consecrators 6th Company Intercessor. Painting black has always concerned me. Trying to highlight black without making it look grey is difficult, but I think I've achieved a good finish here. There's some debris on the model I couldn't remove with that extensive work. If you saw my 9th Company Ultramarines video, you'll know that a paint pot exploded after a blockage and sent thick blood paint all over my workstation, which went right over this guy and 2 others. That paint's very thick and refused to be removed, even after a soak and scrub with IPA. So after cleaning off what I could, I left it as is. I didn't want to risk damaging any of it. Perhaps I should have painted the debris that was on there. Make it look intentional or something. I don't know. Other than that, I'm very happy with the armorial. It came out looking great. The Hellstorm bolt rifle, on the other hand, was a bit of an experiment. It fits okay, but just don't look at the left wrist. But anyway, that's all I've got for this video. If you have any chapters you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you'll stick around for the next one.